Do you want to rail some robots and get analyzed by aliens? We know we do. Welcome to BuzzBait, formerly known as BuzzBait. I'm your host, Laura. With me today are my co-hosts, Colin and Megan. Question for you both. Your cock is in your brother and your cousin is in your ass. Which way are you moving to get out?
What the fuck is wrong with you, Laura?
Where's that clip from Family Guy where he goes, "Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down." Oh my god. Okay, yeah, you were right. That was a doozy of an intro.
I'm crying already, guys. I don't like it.
It's 10:30 a.m.
It's too fucking early.
It's
you to have done
10:30
that to
a.m.
me,
and
Laura.
Laura's giving us the existential crisis incest question. The answer is I think I'm just going to kill myself. I'm not moving either direction.
You know what? That's a good answer.
I'm just crashing out.
Megan, what are you doing?
I don't remember the question. I think I blocked it from my brain.
I said, your cock is in your brother and your cousin is in your ass. Which way are you moving to get out?
You killed her. Meg is not part of this episode anymore, Laura. You've done it.
Okay, so now we have a live ghost, and that's the theme for today. But Meg, I would still like an answer.
I think it's just. I think that I'm gonna take it a step further and say that before, like, whatever moment there is right before getting into that situation is the moment that I kill myself. Because I can't. I'm already dead by that point. Like, there's no... Someone's like, okay, so this is what we're gonna do, and if not, you know, like someone, like, under duress, like, someone's gonna fucking kill you, I would die. I would just be like, kill me! What the fuck are you talking about? Just kill me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A guy like me wouldn't be in that position in the first place. Anyways, today we are discussing ghost stories.
That's just the fucking, that's the same joke as, like, there's a wall full of dildos. How many do you go through before you choke? And if you say none, it's like, oh, you're a professional then. And if you give an actual number, he's just like, oh, that's interesting. I just wouldn't suck them, you fucking weirdo.
So yeah, we're talking ghost stories today.
The question that I have for the end of this, fantastic for this intro, though, I will say. When we get to the end, fantastic question. Fantastic.
So stay tuned for that at the end of the episode.
I thought that was gonna be so wild and out of pocket after whatever this episode was, and then it's gonna tie right together. It's gonna be a perfect ending. I'm very excited.
Excellent.
So anyways, ghost stories.
What I brought here, so I brought this article from the University of South Carolina, and it's basically about, like, can ghosts actually exist? Like, are they really real? And like one of the questions close to the top that they ask are ghosts possible? And explain that, like, no one describes ghosts as aging, eating, breathing, using bathrooms, like actually being kind of human in a way. And that it's like, if that's the case, then that means ghosts glow, move objects, make sounds, and they're acting like matter beings, something that, you know, can actually take up space, but are still vanishing through walls. And there's really no evidence other than what we see, what we encounter.
So I'm one of the people that, like, is on the line between skepticism and believing, because, like, I personally have had some, like, weird situations that I can't explain, like, rationally. Like, there are those situations where people are like, oh, if you go into a dark bathroom and you stare into the mirror and you say Bloody Mary, like, she'll appear on the mirror. And I'm like, I know logically that the human brain can just, like, distort images when it stares at something long enough, let alone something in the dark. Like, I know that is a phenomenon that is studied and happens. So, like, that kind of stuff, like, I'm the line between, like, believing, because, like I said, there's, like, things that I cannot explain how they've happened, why they've happened, the ways that they've happened, and then there are the situations where it's, like, completely explainable, and sometimes people who believe a little bit too much. They want to kind of like push away any of those like explanations that are like in the realm of possibility or science or reality. And so it makes me want to believe even less. Like I take every story as like a grain of salt because obviously it wasn't a firsthand experience. Like even stories and stuff that I take from like my parents and my family, I kind of like, okay, yeah, maybe you're fucking nuts. Who knows? You know, you could be nuts. You could be completely accurate in the storytelling, but you could be absolutely insane. We'll never
Yeah,
know.
you gotta be careful about stories from old people. They had cocaine in their soda.
That is true.
I don't think my parents did in their generation, but like someone in
Hey,
my
you never
family
know.
Let me
certainly.
check. When did Coca-Cola change that recipe?
I want to say it was.
But I agree with you, Meg. I do the same thing. I take any sort of like supernatural story with a grain of salt. Even ones that I tell myself, I'm like, well, I could have been seeing something else. I could have been maybe like too tired and my brain was just making shit up.
In 1903, they stopped putting cocaine in the
Damn.
soda.
Yeah, that's like 4 generations back for my family.
I think we got to put it back in, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, things are going downhill. Put the cocaine back in the soda.
Honestly,
What's the worst that could happen?
I probably would need less Adderall.
Eh?
I just drink more Coke and do
That's why
less
ADHD
Adderall.
didn't exist back in the day. They just gave everybody fucking cocaine.
Hey,
Put some Fent in Fanta, just call it Fenta.
yeah. What do you chase your Coke with cocaine with? Well, you know, to bring me back down, I do that Fenta.
My favorite thing is to do a mixed drink. I put a little Coca-Cola with some Fenta, and then it's just really rolling the dice on which one hits me first, the Coke or the Fent.
Yeah, balance your rate out, and then boom, you know,
Mix your uppers and
then
your
boom,
downers,
you go to work,
kids.
and it's like, you're fine. Go take care of the kids.
I can't go outside when I'm a little bit stoned. I can't imagine people who do hard drugs and try and do anything functional.
I did
related.
the first time I did acid was at a campfire in the woods at like 11 p.m.
I could imagine doing hard drugs and actually doing shit done, because, like, some crackheads be moving, man.
That's true. That my favorite thing was it was a meme and it was just like, oh, you're having a hard day, you don't feel like you can get up and go to work. There's a tweaker out there who invented 3 new ways to smoke crack.
It's I've heard of one similar where it was something like how crackheads are broke, but they don't quit the grind, so why are you?
Right.
Like, if they don't have enough money for crack, it don't stop them.
Right. You're like, you think you don't got $5 right now? A crackhead doesn't have $5. Who you think's more motivated to get $5?
They're still getting their crack even if they don't have $5. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, ghost stories.
Oh yeah, we went way off topic.
I have some that I think are pretty good.
I brought, before we get into personal ghost stories, Travel Channel, famous for having ghost hunting shows.
Yeah, History Channel's got the aliens, Travel Channel's got the ghosts.
Yep. They released a article about the most haunted states. So
Ooh.
I was kind of thinking if you guys wanted to guess the top 10, and we can go in order. You don't have
Ohio.
to list me like
New York,
10,
Pennsylvania, Florida.
Okay, well, let's start. What do you think is number 1?
I guessed Ohio first because that place sucks. There's got to be a reason that Ohio sucks.
No, why the fuck would ghosts want to hang out in Ohio?
They don't want to. That's why they're so mean to everybody.
No, I think New York, California, Pennsylvania.
You would say you think New York. Meg, we said just start with number 1.
Listen to my reasoning, though. First
no,
of all,
we're starting with 1.
Are you saying all 3 for number 1?
We're going to say Pennsylvania for number 1. Because I was going
to
have
in an actual guess, I'm going to say New York because I know that there's a shit ton of haunted asylums.
Both those guesses are in the top 10, but they're not number 1.
Who's number 1? Is it Florida?
Number 1 is California.
Oh, I
There's
fucking
Alcatraz,
knew it.
the Armagosa Opera House, Queen Mary in the Long Beach, Winchester Mystery House, and
Oh, I forgot Winchester was in
you know,
California.
ton of shit.
Hey,
ton of
really
shit.
quick, if anybody starts watching this and they want to hear some like true crime or mystery stuff like that, I would love to cover these topics. I know that like a bajillion other
All right, we're
podcasts
gonna
do
make a
them.
separate show for Meg, where she can do her true crime deep, because I think this is the 5th time Meg has mentioned wanting to do a true crime topic. Meg, you got yourself your own show. It's coming up.
Only if people actually want it, because there's so
It doesn't
many.
matter if they want to. It matters that you want to.
No,
Fuck everybody else.
I want to do 5 million other things. So
comment below if you would like us to cover
I'm going to comment below immediately.
true crime. I'm also going to comment and say I wish these 3 would shut the fuck up. Alright, what's your guess for number 2?
New York.
New
York and then Pennsylvania for number 3, I think is my...
Yeah, I want to stick with... New York's got to be up there, because New York's got some fucked up haunted places.
Yeah, plus it's like one of the older places in America, so I think it's got like war stuff, it's got like fucked up asylum stuff, it's got... I think it's New York, because where's Amityville? Is that in New York? Or is that...
Well, you're both wrong, actually.
Fuck. Who's number 2?
Nevada.
What the fuck?
Las Vegas.
Oh, that makes sense. People died
in those. A million mines out there.
Between Las
Virginia
Vegas.
City.
Yeah, between Las Vegas and people just dying in the Dust Bowl sandstorms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, that does. So I was listening to a different podcast, and they were going over like how like casinos are like super haunted in Las Vegas. And then I was like, but you don't really hear about it. And in the episode, they literally go over like the casino spends so much money paying off reporters to not publish stories about people like killing themselves or getting killed in casinos.
Which makes sense, because that's bad for publicity.
Right. And it's just like the government lets them do it, because if the casinos lose business, that's basically the entire financial support of the state.
Right.
Or of like the city.
Right. That makes sense.
If New York isn't top 5, I'm gonna like cry, because my home needs to be known for something.
It's not top 5. It's top 10. Not
right,
top 5.
Time to cry.
A house down the street from me had one of those signs above it that instead of like saying like for sale and then like the realtor sign, it said not haunted and then the realtor sign.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious.
This was a while ago now, but yeah, it did.
Would you guys like to guess number 3?
Again, New York. I'm gonna go with New York. It's got to be top 5.
I just said it's not top 5.
It's
but
not.
It is top 10.
Okay, it is top 10. Pennsylvania.
Number 3. I'm gonna go with. Don't make fun of me, internet. I think it's Louisiana.
Ooh,
that's a good guess.
I'm gonna say that's number 4 or 5, but I'm gonna stick with.
Colin was close. It's Texas.
Texas.
Damn.
Texas
really?
is number 3?
Is it just because of the size, or does Texas like actually have a bunch of crazy shit?
It says here on the Travel Channel that El Paso's De Soto Hotel, somewhere you should avoid. Yeah. The Central Unit Prison.
Yep.
Desolate Yorktown Hospital, which was once filled with struggling addicts and has now been abandoned by the living, but not the dead.
Okay.
So now moving on to number 4.
Is this one Louisiana?
No.
Damn.
Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna say. Okay, so if New York's not top 5, if Pennsylvania is probably not top, are we gonna say? What did you say earlier, Colin? Because you said Ohio is so shitty.
Yeah, Ohio sucks. There's got to be ghosts there.
I don't
think Ohio's in the top 10, but I think it's just because nobody lives there to talk about the ghosts.
I want to say something like in that area though, because I feel like like those flyover states, they're gotta be so boring. What else is there to do but tell ghost stories? Plus, I feel like I've heard there's another. Is it?
Is it actually? Can I change from Tennessee? Is it, or can I change from Tennessee? Can I change from Louisiana to Tennessee?
Sure.
Is it still wrong?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Is it?
That Bass Pro Shop pyramid has to be cursed.
Okay,
Meg, what's your guess?
I'm gonna get away from the mindset of like the East Coast being older and having like all the war sites and stuff like that, and I'm gonna go further. I want to say something like, oh gosh, what is it? I have a state in mind and I can't even think of the name of it.
Nebraska,
Montana,
No.
Wisconsin,
What?
Alabama.
Michigan.
What's Michigan?
Well, Megan, you were closer with your first guess. Number 4, Ohio.
Damn, it was Ohio. Or are you saying she was closer with the Ohio guess?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Michigan's not.
Michigan,
number
I don't think is
4?
even top 10.
Michigan doesn't exist. It's not real.
Really?
They write here that the Twin City Opera House has been noted to always have something lurking
Why
behind
are
the
opera
curtains.
houses always so haunted?
Phantom of the
The
Opera.
Sedumsville Rectory leaves visitors with strange scratches on their face. And the old Licking County Jail. Guess number 5, and then I'll just list the rest from the top 10.
Shot in the dark, Alaska.
I don't think there's enough people in Alaska to talk about it being haunted.
Nah, but it gets dark there for a long time, and that's scary as fuck.
That is scary as fuck. I'm gonna go back to New York or Pennsylvania, I think.
Number 5, Arizona.
Damn.
Bullshit.
For basically a combination reason of Texas and Nevada.
What is this?
That was the Wild West.
That's
There's a
fucking
famous
deserts. There's not.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. Now, are we
famous town
talking
of
about?
Tombstone.
Are we talking about? Are we talking about locations? The place with the most dense specific locations for haunting, or like the place with like the most ghost sightings?
I mean, wouldn't that go hand in hand?
No, not necessarily. Because here's the thing: if you've got a bunch of famous locations, like what Colin was saying earlier, with like the asylums and shit like that, that's different than just a bunch of people reporting, yeah, I see ghosts all the time here. You know what I mean?
I wanna go on the record and say that Meg is getting defensive about the explanation of haunted states.
I'm just saying.
Because she's so competitive, she wants to win this competition.
It's not about winning or like a competition, it's about how I'm conceptualizing to answer the question.
So here's why Arizona is number 5. I'll read out the whole thing instead of just a summary. The Wild West was filled with turmoil, so it's no wonder that another western state rounds out the top 5. The famous town of Tombstone is still home to cowboys who refuse to pass on. The vulture mind is harnessing something other than just gold, and to top it all off, there's the Jerome Grand Hotel. Hospitals and hotels tend to be paranormal spots, so what happens when you build a hotel in an abandoned old hospital like the Jerome is? Well, you end up with what some argue to be the most haunted place in the entire state. So, to finish off the top 5 here, there's 2 ties. Number 6 is tied. Pennsylvania and New York.
See?
Perfect.
So number 8 is another tie. Massachusetts and Missouri.
Interesting.
Missouri. Maybe that's Massachusetts or Missouri. Maybe that's what I was thinking of, because like Salem, Massachusetts. I said maybe it was like another M state that I was thinking of instead of Michigan. But
Missouri's on here. I mean, they have things like the Titanic Museum, St. Louis, that kind of stuff. But events that were recorded in Missouri pretty much became the basis for the film The Exorcist.
Ooh.
And number 10, Louisiana.
Makes sense. Ha! Okay, so here's the thing. I knew. Yeah, I don't know what year your thing, like this thing, came out, or what year your thing came out, but
Mm-hmm.
I pulled up something because I was curious, because I'm like, I swear, like, I watch a lot of like supernatural stuff because I love spooky ooky. I can't play scary video games, but
Did you just say spooky
Spooky
ooky?
shut the fuck up.
What the fuck?
Yes, I
I
did.
love some spooky ooky.
You know,
Badookie.
spooky ooky stuff. It's spooky ooky. I don't know what to tell you.
It's just spooky, Meg. You don't gotta add the ooky.
I do.
Spooky ooky make me dookie.
So anyways, this says, if you're looking for a real fright, you should head over to Texas, which claims the title of the most haunted state of all, with over 7,000 recorded sightings. So that is people, since it says they went back all the way back just to 1972, right? From 1972 to now, they have cataloged all of the like people, like the stories of sightings, and they said that it goes Texas, California, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois. Top 5 of the like the separate sightings, because
Let
I'm
me
thinking
see if I
Travel
can find
Channel.
a different list.
Yeah, that'd be fucking hilarious. I'd be like, no, it's definitely New York. It's Ohio, then New York. But apparently Delaware, very few ghost sightings. And places that are almost entirely ghost free include Hawaii, Wyoming, Vermont, and Alaska, which have had
All
only a
right,
few
I
hundred.
did find a different list. I have Texas, Maine, Florida, Vermont, and North Dakota.
But the ones you listed, Meg, of like what, Maryland, Hawaii, and Delaware, those track with the Travel Channel one.
Yeah, because these are like individual, like people being like, yeah, I saw a ghost, which I think the Travel Channel one, it makes sense if they're talking about like places with like the most dense like places of ghosts, versus just like your everyday people being like, yeah, I saw a ghost last week, it was wild.
I did find how they ranked them here.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
What do they do?
How haunted is your state? Travel Channel has compiled a ranking of how haunted each state is based on how many times our paranormal teams have been called out to investigate. Using data from shows like Ghost Adventures, Kindred Spirits, Portals to Hell, and more, we have a comprehensive list.
So,
Okay.
how many times has your state called the Travel Channel to be like, do a story about us? That's not the most accurate. There's, like I said, it's like location based, which makes sense, and it's very similar, very high overlap. It seems like, I mean, Texas,
say, like,
California, it's very few differences.
Yeah.
But yeah, very few differences it seems. But the big thing being like, you know, like you said, like the things that are the lower, and they all seem to line up the same way.
All right, do you guys want to get into some personal ghost stories here?
Hell yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so can I start? Fantastic. Okay, so I was a freaky little child. Just just want to say I was
Okay.
we all know I got that lazy eye, right? Well, when I was a child, they actually did a surgery to align it, which is why most people don't immediately recognize pictures of me from childhood, because they're like, when the fuck did that eye thing happen? If you look totally normal up until middle school. So anyways, part of when, like, I was such a freaky little kid that my mom got so scared after I had my eye alignment surgery, because I looked at her and I went, I'm 4 years old, by the way. I go, Mommy, I can see your soul. I can see your soul. I told my mother that. After waking up out of anesthesia, after having surgery on my eyes, I told my mother, Mommy, I can see your soul. And she went, and according to her, it was my father that took a pencil and dropped it on the ground and said, Megan, pick that up. And then they played a game for a really long time of me having double vision, trying to pick up things that they put on the ground. They entertained themselves, apparently.
You want to know why your mom got scared? Because if you could see her soul, you would have seen that she was planning to run away to France.
Oh, shit!
So she got real scared.
But the reason why she took it so seriously is because I had said from like earliest moments that I could talk that I saw things, and it wasn't like 3 and 4-year-old me was like, this is my imaginary friend, we play together. It's like, no, there's this weird grown adult that like hangs around the house sometimes. You guys don't deal with that. You don't talk to him. No, he doesn't tell you like to do strange things. No, okay. And they were
tell you to do strange things.
Yeah, like I would do weird shit, I guess. And this is stories from like my whole family, right? People, because I barely remember. I'm like 3 or 4 years old, and they were like, "You don't, you." They would like come into a room and I'd be doing weird shit, and they were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know. Charles said that I should do this." Charles being this older grown man apparently that would hang around. He also hung around with, and again, I'm 4. He hung around with a young girl who I called Elizabeth, and I told everybody, again, I'm 3 to 4 years old, and I told them, yeah, her mom accidentally killed her. I don't know how they didn't institutionalize me, because I'm like, I would think my child's like schizophrenic or something. Like, that's not normal.
I was just thinking, like, if I was your parent, I'd be like, I gotta give this child up. Adoption, here you go.
Right? I'm 4 years old. I'm like, yeah, there's this grown man. He hangs out with this little girl all the time. They show up every now and then.
Take this baby to the church.
Well, can I tell you what really freaked out my parents, right? So I would do things like when I was like finally like potty trained, like when my brother was born, I would do things like I would go into the bathroom and I would tell this grown man, Ghost Charles, that no, he's not allowed to come in with me to the bathroom. And I would stand at the door and like hold it open a crack and talk to this person and be like, no, you're not allowed to come in with me. Well, one day I had like overalls on and they had like come off and I couldn't put them back on. And my parents were like, how the hell did you get like the, because you know like those like old like metal overalls with like the little circle clasp, you have to like push it down to like get it off. I'm like, what the hell, like what do you do? I'm like, I don't know, Charles did it. And then they were like, okay, you can't figure out how a fucking snap works. You're like 3.5 years old. What the fuck? And so my dad went upstairs into an empty room and yelled at a ghost. And then I never saw Charles again. My dad threatened a ghost because he was freaked the fuck out. Well, come to find out, the house that we lived in at the time, the older gentleman who had lived in there before us, who had passed away before we moved in, his name was Charles, and he was a pedophile.
Yikes.
And it
Don't like that.
really freaked my parents out when they found out about this. And it really freaked, and I'm like, I don't really remember. I'm like 3 or 4 years old. I barely have memories. I do remember like one time like standing outside like at the bathroom door. I remember that part. Doing that one time when but my parents did not like that. They were like, no, we don't like that. And then there were like other things like, so that was like the one story that I was directly related to. Now my parents kind of believe they're again in that same boat of like kind of taking stuff as like bullshit, like, you know, unless they directly experience something. But before I was born, my parents lived in a duplex. Upstairs, my aunt lived, and she had 2 girls that she had adopted, Vicky and Veronica. My mom at the time had gone to school and she was like a substitute teacher, but she also had my sister, so she wasn't working a lot. So she would often watch Vicky and Veronica after my aunt would leave in the mornings. So I I guess my aunt had gotten the girls like bunk beds, and so in the mornings my aunt would leave and they would still be asleep, and then when they woke up, one of the girls would jump off the top bunk bed, and my mom would hear like that thud noise. And so my mom got used to that and be like, okay, they're up. I got to go get them breakfast and everything. And, no big deal. So weird things were like happening while they lived there. Like my sister was in the other room, and she was like giggling one day, and then she was like, stop messing with me, and and again, my sister's like 3 years old, and my mom was like, what's going on? And then the girls and my sister all agreed that the old lady who lived in their closet upstairs was tickling my
What
sister's
the
feet. And
What the
again,
fuck?
these girls are, so this is before I was born, so this is like pre-4-year-olds who are like, yeah, that old lady who lives up in my closet, she's tickling Jessica's feet. And so my sister would be like, stop, and she stayed in their like a lot of times we're like in their closet, and she was just like this old lady. So anyways, my aunt eventually moved out before my parents did, so nobody was living upstairs. And my mom, at first, she was like, oh, I'm so used to hearing that thud that in the mornings when she heard something, she would just be like, oh, it's just like my mind playing tricks on me. I'm so used to hearing that sound that like I'm expecting it and it's not there. And then it kept happening, and my sister kept having these like weird things about this like old lady, and my mom tried to tell my dad. And at the time, my dad, like in the mornings and stuff, he was still gone. I think he like worked overnights, so he was usually gone that early in the morning. And he was like, I think you're nuts. You're fucking losing it, whatever. And so it wasn't until he was home one morning and he heard it, and he actually like grabbed his gun because he thought like they were living in the city at the time, so he thought maybe like someone had like broken in, maybe someone was like squatting up there. So he rushed upstairs with his gun, and there's nobody up there. So they are both convinced that there's certainly a ghost living there. They didn't do the background check the way that they did like on the property afterwards, like the way that they did on the house that we lived in when I had that issue. But after they moved out, someone moved in, and then whoever bought it right after them, when they like demolished the building. And I was like, I just feel like people.
You live a very haunted life.
You
Colin, do you
no
have
idea.
any stories?
I've got 5 more, so go ahead.
Yeah, I've got a couple. There was one where I was camping with it was my dad's side of the family. They have a family reunion, and it used to be at my uncle's property, and he has like a huge farm with a bunch of like extra forested acres of land. And so I was walking through the woods because I was overstimulated by 800, not like 800, I think it was like 80 drunk people. And so I was like, I'm going to leave. You guys are too much right now. And so I went for a walk in the woods, and I ended up tripping and like twisting my ankle, like right up against a creek or small river. I don't remember what it was technically classified as. But so I like twisted my ankle and I fell down the bank, and I look across the little however much water was there, and I see these 3 or 4. I couldn't tell based on the size whether or not they were just like coyotes, whether they were actually like little wolves, because it was just in the right area where it could have been either technically.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked at me because I fell down the riverbank, and then I don't know if they sensed that I was not getting up as fast as I could have, but they started like walking towards me very slowly, very cautiously. And behind me, I hear the sound of my dearly departed grandfather, who died when I was 7.
Oh.
And I hear him just doing his classic thing they did with us kids when like we would get ourselves hurt or something, and he would come out to help us, and he'd be like, I just heard him go, "You stupid little shit." And then I heard the signature sound of his rifle that he would use to shoot woodchucks in his lawn. And then all of the wolves or coyotes, whatever they were, just like started yelping and running off the opposite direction. And eventually I was able to like find a nice strong stick and like get myself back on my feet and sort of limp back to the place that we were having the reunion at.
Holy
and
shit.
Yeah, so it's just that one. And I figured that it was actually him because I was wearing the hat he gave me when I was a child. He gave me like an old camo. I forget what the term for the hat is. It's the one that like fishermen wear, where it's just got like that little.
It's like that buckety shape.
Yeah, it's like a bucket hat almost.
Yeah, like a fly
But it had like
hat,
the flat brim instead of like going straight down, essentially.
Okay, yeah.
So I was wearing that, and then so that was one story, and then I had another story where I was helping my buddy's family move their grandpa's belongings out of his old house after he passed away, and he had served in the military. So his dad was like, "Hey, if you guys want, you can go up to the attic and start getting the boxes at least next to the what do you call that? The when they have like the hatch that leads up to the attic instead of stairs."
Mm-hmm.
So we were just pushing boxes over, but like I'm 10 and my buddy was 11 at the time. So like we're opening some of the boxes if they look interesting. And we find, I think it was 3 of those military like steamer trunks. And we opened the one that had his grandpa's name on it. And we were just like looking at some of like the pictures and stuff that he had in there. And it was really cool. And then we opened another one and there wasn't as much stuff in it because it wasn't his grandpa's, so he didn't have all of it from like the beginning. It was just, I think one of his buddies passed away and like left it to him. And so there wasn't as much stuff in that one. But there was a really cool knife and there was a couple pictures. And so we were like, oh, that's awesome. And like we specifically closed it and relatched it because like that wasn't his grandpa's stuff. So we weren't going to like go through the chest. We just wanted to see what was in it. And so then like we go and we start grabbing more boxes. And so we're both on like the opposite end of his attic. And suddenly we like hear the clasps pop again. And as like both of us look over, the chest is fully open and the knife has now been embedded into the floor like 4 feet in front of the chest.
Ooh.
So we like yelled down like the hatch. We're like, hey, can you come up here? And he like comes up because like, he just like, he kind of like runs up the ladder. He goes, what happened? And like we pointed over at the chest and he just runs over, grabs the knife, puts it back in, closes it. And like, just like he opens the window in the attic and just goes, is anybody out by the car? And they're just like, no, we're inside. And he throws the trunk out of the attic. And he just goes, don't touch that one. Like, just leave that one alone.
Yeah.
And we were like, why? And then that was when he told us the story that his dad told him, which is that the reason that his dad had that guy's trunk is that guy's entire family basically like disowned and removed themselves. Like his wife got a divorce, took the kids like changed their last name and fully like dissociated him from their family. And he goes, but my dad would never tell me, like, I don't know if he didn't know, but he would never tell me like what happened or like how he was when they served together. But like apparently the guy did something bad enough that his whole family was like, you are not part of this anymore. Like that part of the family tree is cut. Those are the 2 major ones. Beyond that, as I got older and especially after college, it's hard to tell if I had ghost experiences or just lingering effects of doing acid like once a month for an entire year.
Do you don't recall what the name was?
No. I have no memory. My memory from back then is spotty at best.
My ghost story, I have one in particular that jumps out to me. Technically 2, so I guess I'll tell both, but man, if there was any episode to get my mom on, this would be the fucking one. That girl, she loves her ghosts. Back when I lived in my apartment, not where I'm currently living, it was me and my partner at the time. And just how it was set up was giant bedroom doorway. Like, I say doorway, it was more of a walkway. There was really no door in that fucking place. And the bed was literally right there. So when I was sitting in the living room playing my game, I could see them sleeping, right? Because we worked opposite shifts. I was playing some video game, minding my damn business, And this was probably like the first week, maybe week 2, staying at the place. And I saw this shadowy figure literally just walk by me into the bedroom and then just kind of disappear.
Hey, well, I don't like that.
I didn't like it either.
I bet you didn't. I don't like it here. I bet you didn't really like it there.
Because it was, you know how they say, like, when it's like a rumor or whatever, like when it goes past you, it's like the temperature drops. That's what it was. Like, they went by me and all of a sudden it was like minus 20 degrees, whatever the fucking room temperature was. It was now colder. So right in the morning when my partner woke up, I was like, dude, what the fuck was this? And so I have this rock because they were like, hey, there's this crystal that if you have it, it like dissipates bad energy and bad spirits around you. I take that motherfucking rock everywhere with me.
Which is why you have fewer ghost stories.
Which is why I have fewer ghost stories, because get some black tourmaline in your life, man. That shit, life-changing.
Get some black tar in your life. You'll have way more ghost stories.
Literally start smoking cigarettes.
I thought of heroin. I was like, oh, we're back on that. Okay.
Yeah. Take the crystal if you want to avoid ghosts. Take the heroin if you want to see more.
But there's also my parents' house, which is very old and has been literally picked up and moved before. So
I've actually seen that happen in like real life with Amish. They're like, oh, we need to actually move this barn. And I have watched them get together and pick up a barn and walk it somewhere else. And I was like, what are you guys, like, what do you do? Like, is just when you join the Amish and you put on those suspenders, the hat, and you grow that beard, does God just bless you with super strength?
I think it's all those fucked up genes from like incest and shit.
That also
Laura,
might do it.
that's way more fucked up. But I was gonna be like, yeah, literally, that's what the Amish think, though, is that God's blessing them.
We don't need machines. God has gifted us with pure, raw power.
Nothing to do with inbreeding at all.
Yeah, nothing to do with inbreeding.
Yeah, Laura.
He can't form a sentence, but he can pick up a fucking barn, that's for sure. But no, so the other ghost story is when I was younger, we had a computer downstairs, literally right by the stairs. And above it was a mirror, so you could see kind of when something was happening behind you, right? And right behind the computer desk is one of the doorways to, or walkways, whatever you want to call it, to the kitchen. I was home alone, and I swear on my life, I wasn't on acid. I've never done acid.
I was going to say, for any reference, I'm the only person in this podcast who has done crazy drugs like that. My friends are fully sound of mind and not obliterated like my brain is.
I swear, it was just me in the house, and I saw like one of the loaves of bread on top of the fridge just whoop. I saw it just fly across the mirror. Like someone tossed it across the kitchen. And I got up and I was like, that's fucking weird. Like, after seeing that, I don't want to go into the kitchen, but I also don't want to just leave bread on the floor. So I got up, I put the bread back on the refrigerator and was like, okay, I'm going to bed. That's enough for me.
That's it. We don't need any more of whatever the fuck that was.
Yep. Time to go be unconscious so I don't have to be conscious for whatever this is.
Yeah, whoever you are, frick you, man. Get out of my kitchen.
I thought you said frick you, Meg, and I'm like, damn, so what's this?
Yeah, whatever
Say
ghost
fuck
is
Meg, huh?
whatever ghost is haunting me, fuck you, Meg.
That sounds about right. That tracks.
Honestly, it does sound about right because we're talking about ghosts.
Yeah.
This was a topic that you
Yeah.
wanted to talk about, and here we are.
It absolutely is. So we are getting close to time. I was just gonna tell the fact that, like, again, if anybody else wants to hear more ghost stories, I got a fuck ton of them.
Leave your comments below so that Meg can get her true crime ghost story spinoff.
Thanks. I appreciate that. But
I got you.
yeah, we are at 51 minutes. If anybody's got like a little blurb that they want to share before we go into question, because I think the question is gonna be pretty quick.
Didn't you say you had like a wild question?
Yeah.
So I do have one question. So like there are stories about like certain ghosts who do try to like assault people. Like, if that happened to like either of you guys, like what do you do from there? Like honestly, do you just like get up and be like, all right, selling the house, goodbye, fuck that, not dealing with that, or do do you
I
call?
start swinging at the air. I'm gonna stand up and just.
So
like
I've actually had the exact opposite of an assault from a ghost. Can I?
You
share this
assaulted
story?
a ghost?
No.
Meg was
No.
Meg was in the bathroom at 2 a.m. and caught that shower ghost lacking.
No, I need you to just
Shower
I need you to just fucking listen really quick to this craziness. So I was laying in bed. Someone had actually talked about ghosts and stuff at work, and like weird shit had been happening. Weird shit seems to happen specifically around the time that like one of my friends passed away, or around his birthday, which is coming up, and I'm not looking forward to it. But anyways, I was laying in bed, and like, so I'm laying like basically flat on my stomach, and I've got a blanket on me, and I'm like propped up a little bit, like I'm on my pillow because I'm like up on my elbows, like on my phone, and my shirt had ridden up in the back, like more than half my back is exposed, and then the blanket that's like half around my waist moves up my back. Now again, I am angled upwards. That is against gravity. The blanket moved up to cover my bare back. And I said out loud, because I'm fucking nuts, I went, I don't like that. Don't do that. This is my room. If you don't like it, get out. And then the blanket moved up again. And I said, I need to get out. Never mind. I'll go. And I got out and I went out to the living room and I said, Dad, I need you to tell me that ghosts aren't real. And then I'm crazy.
I think they were trying to strangle you with the blanket.
They were just trying to cover me up. They were like, I don't want to see your fucking fat back. Get out of here. That's what I was saying. Like, I had the exact opposite of what ghosts
God.
A ghost was like, I don't want to see
saw
that
you
shit.
And said, you?
Exactly.
It's like, we gotta do something.
Exactly. Like I don't need to be seeing this shit. I'm sure the ghost is like, I'm stuck here. I don't have a choice. I'm a fucking ghost. Cover that shit up. And then I was like, this is my room. Don't do that. I don't like that. And then they were like, I don't give a fuck what you like. Cover the fuck up. And I said, never mind. You're right. I'll leave.
Ghost was like, this is my room. This is my house, bitch. I've been here longer than you've been alive.
Who knows? Who knows? I don't. I sure don't know, and I sure don't care or want to ask about it. I'm like, you're fine. You're fine. You know what? You're right. You made a great point, and I will leave. I'm like, this is my room. If you don't like it, leave. And then the ghost was like, you sure about that? And I said, no, I'm actually not. I do want to leave. Whew. Anyways, so I know that Colin asked a question, but I don't think that's our episode ending question that I was going to ask.
No, that was just me talking about weird ghosts.
Ghost stuff, yeah.
Freaky ghosts.
Laura, did you answer Colin's question? I know.
Yeah, she said she'd just start swinging.
I'd start swinging at the air.
Yeah, fantastic.
Catch that motherfucker.
Yeah, it's about to fucking... My hand is about to go through its face. I don't give a fuck.
Fantastic. I'm so happy that you have that fun experience. So, similar to the first question asked right after starting today, I was going to ask if I saw a video and it was a woman and a dude answering very seriously, and she said, would you rather suck 10 different dicks or suck one dick 10 times. And his answer was that if you're sucking the same dick 10 times, that's some kind of commitment, which is in fact gay. So he would suck 10 different dicks. And so then my question was going to be, which is more gay in your opinion, sucking 10 different dicks or sucking one dick 10 times?
What's more gay?
Yeah, like what do you think is like the more gay option? Because like that was his thing, was like, oh, the commitment makes it kind of gay, and that's the issue. And so I was like,
Right.
okay, so if that's the question, which do you think is more gay? Because I don't know, 10 different dicks I think is more gay.
I was gonna say, I think 10 different dicks
Because
way more gay.
that just means you sucked one and you're like, let me get different opinions. Let me see what's going on here.
Because hooked up, so what I'm thinking, right, you're hooked up to like a lie detector, right? You could say, yes, I sucked one dick. Doesn't mean, you know,
Right.
you don't have to say,
You
oh, I
sucked
did it 10 times. You just
right.
sucked one.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Hooked up to a lie detector and you suck 10 different dicks, you can't say that.
That's
Right.
true.
No,
And
That's
everyone's
just
gonna hear
very
that.
valid.
Everyone's gonna look at that, be like, he's lying. He's gay.
It just reminds me of the one video where it was a guy like doing one of those street interviews, and he goes up to a girl. He goes, "If a girl sleeps with 10 guys, she's a slut. What do you call a guy who does it?" And she goes, I don't know, gay probably."
Yeah, I've seen that one. And so, but yeah, that was my question. Like, which do you think is more? Because I thought that his take was wrong. He was like, if I suck one dick 10 times, that's like a commitment to someone.
Loyalty isn't gay, bro. You're gay.
But also, like, you suck the same dick 10 times.
Right, he's gay for sucking 10 different dicks, right?
But like, what I'm saying is, like, you're gonna know what that dick likes, so you could just get done over with faster.
That's
10
true.
different dicks, bro.
That's, like I said, I think that his take
your
was
jaw's
bad.
gonna be hurting.
I think that his take was really bad on that. And I was like, I think he's thinking about it from a kind of gay perspective, being like, well, I'm in a commitment now.
It's definitely wild that the perspective is sucking 10 different strangers off is less gay than committing myself to one penis.
Yeah.
But I just saw that and I was like, oh, that's a fantastic question to ask the boys. Yeah. And I think it relates well to Laura's fucking terrible question.
Whoa, hey.
Okay.
It was a nightmare.
Rude to the host.
I was literally crying earlier. Okay, we started off that was awful, and I'm not gonna cover it up. I don't care if it's rude. It was a really fucked up question, and if anybody missed it and skipped the intro because they're like, intro, whatever, but they need to go back and they need to listen to it and understand why I'm just shitting on Laura right now for scarring me.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I am bullyable.
Is it bullying to just be like, that was horrible that you said? Or is it just...
I said, hey, I have such a special intro. You guys are gonna love it. It's great. Like, I worked really hard on it. I worked hard. I was at my job, just standing there talking to myself, going, are you ready to fuck robots? Do you want to fuck robots? Are you ready to get analyzed by aliens? For like an hour, just so
I will also
I didn't get what's up.
Since last time when we talked about it, I have not been abducted and molested by aliens, unfortunately. So sorry guys, I don't have an update for that. I am, once again, I'm putting it out there. If an alien's listening, have at me. You know, I'm ready. Let's do this. I want to see what it's like. Come on, guys. Please.
But yeah, I was sitting there talking to myself just so that way when it came time to do it, I wasn't like giggling and laughing like, welcome to BuzzBait. You know?
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Is this just going to be the special occasion intro, or is this the new one going forward?
Oh, that's just the special occasion. Because I was just like, oh, well, what would be like Meg's a nightmare? That. Being a part of BuzzBait, bro.
Yeah, Meg's a fleshy, guys. Don't forget.
So yeah, let's not forget that Meg is in fact a fleshy. And again,
in the comments after you say Meg, we would love to hear your paranormal true crime stories. Also, don't forget to shame Meg for preferring the flesh to the machine.
Shame. Preferring the flesh to the
shame
machine.
her.
Yeah. I won't.
Boo this woman. Boo her.
give us a thumbs down for Meg, and then immediately please give us a thumbs up for
Also, yeah, give us a
everything
thumbs
else.
down for Meg being a fleshy, but then give us a thumbs up to show that you do want to hear, comment and like if you want to hear Meg's paranormal true crime spin-off series. But then also leave a second comment that says, Meg, I can't believe you would prefer to sleep with a human over a robot.
Oh, please leave a comment like that.
10 out of
Please.
10, please.
It's fine. Remember,
I
I'm
will
gonna be
read
fucking
all of
rich.
them and they will make me laugh, I promise.
But I do appreciate you being like, let's just give Meg nightmares for our spooky episode. Like, just Megan. Like, we'll just Megan needs the nightmares. Colin?
Yeah.
No. Megan though.
Well, thank you for tuning into this week's episode.
Keep it spooky ooky.
Keep it spooky ooky, make it dookie.
Why you gotta add that? Spooky ooky is a thing. Your thing's
It's not, Meg. You're the only person. You're the only person who I've heard ever say spooky ooky.
It's my first time hearing it.
I promise it's a thing.
Don't keep it spooky ooky. Keep it spooky ooky, make it dookie. Because that means like if you're shitting your pants, like it's scary. Plus, it's
That's
on
true.
theme for the pod.
You know what? That's fair.
Shitting your pants.
So
Most
keep
on
it
theme
keep it
thing.
spooky ooky, make you dookie.